Do the Seahawks owe it to Russell Wilson to sign Duane Brown?
I don't think they owe it to Russell Wilson. They owe it to themselves. I mean, you're in a division right now that has 3 Super Bowl contenders in it, in my mind. You've got San Francisco, who, if Jimmy Garoppolo can be healthy, has proven their roster depth and their running game can lead you to a championship run. They've got the Rams, and I've always been a huge Matthew Stafford fan because I think the guy's an elite level quarterback that's just been in a really junky situation in Detroit. And Sean McVay, obviously, as a play caller and what they want to do, they're going to be outstanding. And then you've got the Seahawks, who are just winners. So you owe it to your football team. You can't go wrong having great players. And I will tell you this, all that offseason, just the rift between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson and all those things. And I think the organization was really angry when Russell Wilson talked about sacks, because Russell Wilson runs into a majority of those sacks. I mean, if you're talking about 45 sacks a year, at least a third of them are planted on the quarterback. And when you live in one of those offensive lineman rooms, like I lived in forever, every one of those sacks, every pressure, there is somebody who takes the blame. There is somebody that gets graded for that. And more often than not, you'd be surprised how many times the quarterback is the guy that takes that check mark, that negative scarlet letter. He wears it. And Russell does it a ton because Russell holds the ball. Now, take this for what it's worth, because as much as he holds the ball, man, he makes unbelievable plays. And that's why they put up with it. But I think that's one of the reasons they were mad. So, yeah, they owe it to their football team to get Duane Brown signed.
Spoken like a true offensive lineman right there. Put it on the quarterback, all them sacks. I heard you, Stink. But I'm glad you brought that up in terms of who the blame should go to, and more importantly, this offseason, as you spoke about. They don't owe it to Russell Wilson to sign Duane Brown. I'll get to Duane Brown later in my second lap, but let's talk about Russell Wilson right now. Man, Russell, this is why you don't kick up dust, bruh. This is why you don't try and embarrass the organization that tries to support you. This is why you don't make things public in terms of your gripes and your issues. Because people listen better when the ego is not involved. Now you tried to punk this organization, tried to burn the house down, and now you're like, okay, we're all together, kumbaya. Can you sign Duane Brown? I need him. And they looking at you like, what? Need him for what? To help you get sacked more? According to you, you're not protected. Why sign a guy that ain't protecting you? Make it make sense. Russell Wilson, oh, my God. This entire offseason, he was peacocking. You know what that is, just showing them colors and, oh, I'm Russell Wilson. Oh, I should be an MVP, but I can't get a vote. Oh, I'm Russell Wilson. I was killed in the first 5-8 weeks of the season. Oh, I'm Russell Wilson. Nobody around me is as good and protecting me. If y'all were dress up the team like I am, we'd be sitting there right now with Tom Brady, and we'd be sitting there right now with Patrick Mahomes. Instead, I'm sitting up here with Sierra and Roger Goodell. I get you, Russell Wilson, but here's the problem, man. They have details. They have facts. They have empirical data on you and everybody on that team. So now you come back and you want a favor, a public favor, when they saw you do them no favors in terms of PR and in terms of perception. Oh, this is going to be a tug of war, and the tug of war is of egos.
Yeah, now egos are definitely involved when you talk about this situation with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson tried to kind of orchestrate a coup so he could get up out of Seattle. They didn't balk, they didn't bite, they let it go. He's now back there. And so when we talk about, do the Seahawks owe it to Russell Wilson to sign Duane Brown? No, not at all. They owe it to themselves, however, to see if they can put together an offensive line that stands the test of time. My concern with Duane Brown would be this. He's 36 years of age. We are seeing Andrew Whitworth and Jason Peters at 39 start games in the league. But it's an ugly start when you watch them on film. How much do the Seattle Seahawks want to pump into Duane Brown? Because remember, Russell's deal is coming up. If they do decide to bring him back, that means somebody else has to be the sacrificial lamb. Maybe, just maybe, Duane Brown is the sacrificial lamb now so they can get Russell Wilson done later.
Yeah, the age thing is, there's no question you slow down. But the one thing about playing offensive line is you don't rely on athleticism to get your job done. You rely on technique, understanding of the game. And that's why guys like Whitworth can continue to play. Even though you slip some, you still can do your job at a very high level. And it's the professionalism. To me, I think that's one of the things that as you travel around the league and you talk to coaching staffs and you talk to general managers, it's about teaching the young players how to prepare as professionals. Because I think a lot of young players come into this league and think they're working hard, think they're preparing like professionals. And then you see somebody who actually does it and you realize, oh gosh, I got to pick my game up. And I think that's the value of veteran players. I'm not saying sign him to a 6-year deal, right? Mm-hmm. I'm saying make sure you take care of him for 2 years. And if that's what he wants to play. And I don't think they have done a great job of grooming a lot of young players and developing a lot of young players. They have a philosophy there in Seattle of let's go get defensive players or tight ends and transition them. And that works occasionally. Every now and again, you're going to find a diamond in the rough. Unfortunately, oftentimes it doesn't work. And then when you take a guy like Affetti that you invest a first rounder in, and he just does not ever pan out. Now he's playing where in Chicago, I think. Those are the things when you make those that hindsight being 2020 are mistakes. Those end up costing you because you don't address those positions. You wait for that guy to develop and that guy to blossom. And when he doesn't, then you realize now we've got 2 problems. We just lost our starter because we don't want to re-sign him. We're not going to pay him. And we really, truly haven't developed anybody to take that spot.
Yeah, to your point, if you look at the depth chart, there are 3 left tackles on the roster, but 1 is injured and 1 is a 6th-round rookie. So, and none of them are named Duane Brown in terms of who's going to go out there and give you that level of production. Man, I got to put my agent hat on, and I'm going to get paid on both sides of this negotiation because I see the side of Duane Brown where you shouldn't play until you get a new deal. And then I also see the side of the organization like, we ain't about to pay you another year or another contract when you already have a year left on your contract at the age of 36. Let's put that agent hat on. Entering your final year of a contract, you haven't been to the Pro Bowl in the last 4 years, not a problem. Since you've been in Seattle, Russell Wilson's been sacked 146 times, second most in the NFL during that span. Russell, how much do you think he is in terms of compensation and value if we've been sacked the second most times in that span? Because either you got to say it's on Duane Brown some, or you got to say it's on you some. And since you want to bring the ego into the conversation, I'd like you to say that to the mic. I'd like you to say that on air. I'd like you to take it public like you did everything else. That's going to be interesting right there. But if I'm Duane Brown also, I'm like, do I want to be out there because maybe I am slipping? And I know Stink said, hey, it's not about age in terms of athleticism at that position. But if I am slipping, but I've been slipping under the radar until Russell Wilson start kicking up dust, what am I going to do? Because the last thing I want to do is go out there, get hurt, and then I'm 36 years old, injured, and then they really look at that film and start to say, nah, dog, I don't know. So to me, this one could go both ways.
Yeah, I'm not going out there unless I have, an extra year or whatever the case may be on the end of that contract, right? Because here's the other thing. Go ahead and play without me. Yeah, you got a 6th-rounder and some other guys. You got a couple of Jags out there. Go ahead. Let's see how it works for you. You thought you were getting sacked a lot before. Wait till you start with this. So, and especially, when you're talking about the guys that rush the passer in that division and the way they play, when you got to line up and have Aaron Donald in there and you're listen, man, when Aaron Donald is playing against an offensive line, they're double and triple teaming him. Everybody else is in one-on-one. Wherever Aaron is, you got 2 offensive linemen and a back going over there to help out. So, hey, Duane Brown, you're on your own. Good luck, or left tackle that backs me up. You're on your own. Good luck. Like that's a tough task. So, to me, it's about finding something in the middle that appeases him so that he'll come back and play. And, easier said than done, right? Easy where I sit to say that. But that's how I would think you would want to get that done.
Yeah, I understand the need to have Duane Brown back, particularly after all the struggles they had at left tackle prior to his arrival. They had to trade for him to get him in because Russell was getting battered and bruised in the pocket. That said, I think you have to be careful if you're a decision maker and you're trying to build this thing around a quarterback. Russell Wilson has expressed to you in your face. I don't know if I want to be here. Here's some destinations if I want to be traded, blase, blase, blase. I think if you're the Seahawks and John Snyder, Pete Carroll, you got to look at how can we build this team for the long haul. If we pump a bunch of money into Duane Brown, what does that do for our other situations? Do we still want Russell Wilson to be a part of this equation going forward? We can presume yes, but how many of those hurt feelings still linger after they so-called made it up? So I think this is a tricky situation. I think if you're the Seahawks, you don't do anything to placate to Russell Wilson. I think what you have to do is look at your roster today and say, does Duane Brown give us an opportunity to win the Super Bowl, not only this year, but next year? And then you got to make your decision accordingly.
Yeah, man, it's crazy in Seattle right now. New offensive coordinator, new left tackle, at least all the training camp, because Duane Brown's not been practicing. Maybe this entire season. We'll see how it plays out. They've been in the news too damn much because of Russell Wilson, and I'm certain that they want to go back to the old winning ways. Russell, you got to help him out. Duane, show up. NFL regular season starts next week, and Terry Bradshaw giving away, damn, $1 million on the Fox Bet Super 6 app? I got to scan the code below. Yes, I will. Download the app for free and predict the outcome of 6 NFL games for a shot to win Terry's money. I'll take it.